Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier with the Key Kentucky Oaks Prep from Santa Anita on Saturday. It's race number 11. It's the Grade 1 Santa Anita Oaks, and you can bet it with DRF Bets. Sign up for a new DRF Bets account, access a $150 bonus, and all you have to do is go to drf.com/join and type in the promo code TV150. Let's take a look at this field of 3-year-old fillies. Matt, there's going to be a big favorite in here. The number 3 Midnight Bijou has emerged, I think, as the Oaks favorite right now. She's won her last 2 races, and she handled the wet track just fine last time out in her 2-turn debut.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she is the Oaks favorite right now. I think she's the best 3-year-old filly. I thought she was the best 3-year-old filly even before Dream Tree got hurt. She's going to take a world of beating in here. She's going to offer, I'm going to say, little to no value in this race. She's going to be odds on unless something ridiculous happens. If it is wet, like it sounds like there's a possibility in Southern California, you know that she can handle that based on that Santa Isabel. 2 turns is not a problem. She can sit, she can go. I have very little to knock about this horse other than the price. You mentioned that great tactical speed. It really worked to her advantage last time out in the Santa Isabel because she had a dream trip under Mike Smith. Spring Lily the 2, 13 squared the 9. They went after it pretty hot and heavy in the early portion of the race. Midnight Bijou just sat there by herself and relaxed and blew by him when the time was right. She is way the horse to beat. Let's see if Timeform US believes that the pace will be different this time around in the Santa Anita Oaks. They do have the 9-13 squared and the 2 Spring Lily out there. They also have a red bar indicating a fast pace, and they also have a stretch out sprinter and a pretty good one in Spectator out there as well. It's possible Midnight Bijou might have to come from a little bit further back. Yeah, and you know what? I have to be honest. I wonder if this is an instance where the connections wouldn't hate that, because at least then you can find out, is she as effective coming from 5 or 6 out of it as opposed to 2 or 3 out of it. We know that she can do that when she sits a perfect trip, but if she has to come from farther back, if they do heat things up early on, is she as effective? It's going to be fascinating to see how that pace does develop, because I wonder, I don't understand Spectator was out there against older horses last time. Do you really want her on the stretch out to get into some sort of prolonged duel with those other horses? I wonder if they think she's just better quality, let those horses go and try to sit in just behind.
Spectator, right, might try that Midnight Bijou trip from last time out, sitting off of the speeds. This will be her first time around 2 turns, a pretty aggressive spot for the great Phil D'Amato as she makes her 2nd start of the year. I liked everything about her seasonal debut. I know it was only at 6.5 furlongs, but they were going in the early portion of that race, and she was very game. I think she gains a lot of fitness. What do you think about the stretch out distance?
Yeah, another one. These Jimmy Creeds, they keep popping up, and I think I like Jimmy Creed as a sire. I liked him as a racehorse, but distance was not his friend, and I'm waiting to see what happens with these horses ultimately. I'm dubious about how far she'd want to go. I understand you have to try it, especially in a race like this. If you think other than one horse, you can run 3rd in another Grade 1. She's already Grade 1 placed sprinting. If you can get a Grade 1 place routing for her, her value probably goes through the roof. I think she's very talented. I just don't know about the distance.
Spring Lily was very impressive, wiring a sprint field 2 starts back. That was a maiden race. Then she ran in the Santa Isabel. Was it simply an excuse that she didn't handle the wet track?
I'm going to be on that side of things. I understand anyone that would say she just was never really a threat and she got embarrassed by those other 2 fillies, and maybe she's just not good enough to turn the tables. I thought she was too good in that run 2 starts back to think that that most recent run is actually what she is. John Sheriffs has talked about the possibility of her sitting just off the pace. I don't know if I like that idea, but I think she's better than what we saw in the Santa Isabel. Maybe she's not as good as Midnight Bijou or Spectator, but I think she's better than what we saw most recently.
There are a couple of other horses in this race that could certainly impact the pace as well. Down towards the rail, First Dudette is stretching out for the first time off a pace-pressing win in her first start in Southern California. I just didn't like the field she beat that day.
Yeah, and I just kind of think it's as simple as, boy, you want to talk about slow on paper. She's not in the same league as some of these girls.
The 8, We All Have Dreams, is another horse stretching out off of a pace-pressing win, and she won by 7 over a muddy track, so she would welcome the opportunity to contest this race over wet going. Her buyers are going the right way. She's got a lot of upside potential. Is this a little bit too much too soon?
Kind of the way that I look at it, but I have to be honest, I liked that maiden score. She was a little bit green, hard with that lead change. It took a little while for Flavian Pratt to get her over. You pick up Rosario. Toward the outside, I would imagine they're going to probably play the break and see what everybody to the inside does.
Exuberance might get the best setup if all of those aforementioned speeds go. She finished ahead of 13 squared when 2nd in the Las Virginis last time out. Although in that race, she got a fast pace. She just wasn't as good as Dream Tree, who's pretty darn good. Exuberance, like some of of the others in here, though, is just a little bit slow on paper, but maybe if she gets the right setup, she can pull off a little bit of a surprise. I've always liked her a little bit.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. If they do throw it down early and there is a barbecue up front, she's probably the one that'll take advantage. On the flip side, I think she's just a little bit on the slow side.
Finesse Beret is a very intriguing entrant for trainer Bob Baffert. This is going to be start number 6, but she's never raced on dirt before. She's been okay on turf, hardly a world beater. And when you look at that pedigree, it just seems like all European grass influences. Bob says she's training well on the dirt and she'll get the right setup.
Maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. If Baffert thought she was a dirt horse, don't you think he would have run around the dirt by now? She's had 3 starts on the turf over here. She's by Pedro the Great. She's a pass for me.
Fool's Paradise removed blinkers last time out for a red-hot barn, took advantage of a good pace up front, and handled her first start around 2 turns over a wet track. But like several others in here, the buyer came back light.
Yeah, light. The only good thing for her, at least, maybe you can project it forward, move second off the bench. I'm curious, though, did she move up so much because it was a wet track, or did she move up because she was allowed to stretch out? And at face value, you look at that pedigree, Pioneer of the Nile, AP Indy on the bottom.
Midnight Bazoo, way the horse to beat. We take a look at our top selections. I don't want to have too much money in against her, but I want to give 13 Squared another chance, especially if the track comes up wet again. She was the one doing some dirty work last time out, pushing Spring Lily, and when Midnight Bazoo made her presence felt to the outside of 13 Squared at the 5/16 pole, it forced Tyler Bays' hand, and he made the front, albeit briefly. I thought she was pretty game in the stretch to hold on for second, and it appears she's improving with each and every start. And how about a crazy idea for you, Matt? How about she sits this time?
I would prefer that. I think that's the way that she can best at least increase her chances of turning the tables. If she's breaking from the outside, let the speeds go, sit just off of them, as opposed to going out there and winging it and dinging it with Spring Lily from the inside. I'm curious, did she move up so much because of the wet track, or was it just a matter of second start off the bench, second start as a 3-year-old? She's starting to put it together, because I thought she finished really well. I thought she was game down the lane. There's a part of me that wonders, and look, maybe it won't matter. Maybe we won't find out Saturday, because if the track comes up wet, it's a moot point. But I wondered, did she move up significantly because of that wet track?
It's a strong possibility for sure. You're going with the 3 Midnight Bazoo. I'm going 9-3-7-2 in the Grade 1 Santa Anita Oaks. It's race number 11 at the Great Race Place on Saturday, and you can bet it with DRF Bets and your new $150 bonus. All you have to do is open up an account with DRF Bets at drf.com/join. Type in the promo code TV150. Approximate post time for the Oaks, the Santa Anita Oaks, 4:30 Pacific. Good luck.